There's definitely this theme coming through of it's one way to everyone who's receiving it and it's another way to her. When she grieves, she's being her real self, and then she has to go back to being this serene queen, this Aphrodite, this symbol to everyone else. So, okay. Hey, it's Megan. Welcome back to On Writing. If you're new here, I'm a professional writer and writing coach. If you're not new here, welcome back. It's great to see you again. You already know we're looking at another song by Lana Del Rey today. I'm really excited to hear more of her writing. This song is off of her Do You Know There's an Ocean Under Tunnel Avenue? Wait. Do you know there's a bridge under the tunnel avenue? Do you know there's a tunnel under Ocean Avenue? Excuse me, why is it so long? If you haven't seen the video I did on her song Kintsugi, definitely add that to your queue. This song is off that same album, Do You Know That There's a Bridge Under Tunnel Avenue? Nope. This song is off that same album, Did You Know That There's a Tunnel Under Ocean Boulevard? And it was co-written by Drew Erickson. Let's see what it's all about.
When I look back, tracing fingertips over plastic bags, thinking I wish I could extrapolate some small intention.
Okay. Whoa. So Kintsugi was very poetic, and this one feels much the same. The first thing that stands out to me is the rhyme between look back and plastic bags. Back and bags, it's an approximate rhyme, but nice. The second thing that stands out to me is the use of the word extrapolate, which is just fabulous. Extrapolate means basically to pull something out of something else, like drawing a conclusion or figuring out the meaning of something. You're extrapolating it out of what you can see already. So that's what stands out to me first. Then we can break down the writing further by looking at what's going on and who she's talking to. So she says, when I look back, so that tells us that she's reflecting on the past. The way it's written with the words tracing and thinking following the phrase when I look back, I would assume that she's doing these things as she's reflecting. When we get some of her direct thoughts, I wish I could extrapolate some small intention or maybe get your attention. So intention and attention is being played with there, which is fun. Who is your? I don't know yet. Maybe it's us as the listener. Maybe it's whoever she's thinking about as she's reflecting. We don't know yet. We need more information. All right.
Will I die, or will I get to that 10-year mark where I beat the extinction of telomeres?
Okay, so we have will I die, or will I get to that 10-year mark where I beat the extinction of telomeres? Girl. Well, I'm going to read you what a telomere is because I have no idea. I'm an English major, so I'm not surprised I don't know this. A telomere is a region of repetitive DNA sequences at the end of a chromosome. So they protect the ends of chromosomes from being frayed or tangled. So as we get older, these become shorter and shorter. The writing's just telling me that she's going through these big existential questions of like, will I make it another 10 years? Will I beat the extinction of telomeres? This kind of like inevitable thing that shows that we're getting closer to death. Like, will I beat it or will I not? Which is kind of funny because we all die. So the idea of asking the question, will I die, is sort of interesting because the answer is yes. Usually people ask the question, when will I die or how will I die? So it's kind of interesting.
If I do, will you be there with me, father, sister, brother?
Again, kind of funny. If I do die, will you be there with me, father, sister, brother? So now we could perhaps see who she's talking to. And then she goes into directly addressing her family. Charlie, stop smoking. Caroline, will you be with me? So will you be with me if I die? So that makes me wonder if she's talking about the moment that she dies, will these people be with her? Or wherever she ends up after she dies, will these people be with her? The way it's written, it makes me think if she dies, when she dies, like at that moment, will they be with her? But we might have to listen to more to find out. Let me know what you think about that.
Will the baby be alright? Will I have one of mine? Can I handle it even if I do? We said that my mind.
keep picturing all of this as happening like 10 years down the line. Will I last longer than my DNA? Will I have a baby? Can I handle it if I do? So like we saw in Kintsugi, this is very much a stream of consciousness style of writing. How do you know it's a stream of consciousness? Because it's literally like her thoughts are on the page, but we're not getting a lot of a story. We're just getting what she's thinking about. Will I die? Will I not? Can I have a child? Will I be able to handle it if I do? Maybe it's not fair to have a child, so I don't know. Maybe I'll be fine. It's very much like something maybe you'd see written in a journal. So that's cool. Okay, telomeres.
It wasn't my idea, the cocktail of things that twist neurons inside, but without them I'd die.
Interesting. I like this phrase, the cocktail of things that twist neurons inside. The thing with things is that it's not concrete, it's not specific, it's very vague. You could fill in the gaps with a whole lot of other things that it could be. A cocktail of medications, a cocktail of DNA, a cocktail of experiences, a cocktail of family members. Like, you don't know. But we know it's a cocktail, so it's different things mixed together. And whatever that mixture is, twists neurons inside. So neurons being the things that fire in your head. Oh my god, I can't. This is so stupid. I didn't know this was going to be a science lesson, but neurons basically being kind of the messengers in your head that they send impulses and messages all throughout your body and basically keep you running. So if they're getting all twisted, maybe it feels like her body is starting to betray her or her mind is starting to betray her. So that's telling me, that whole long explanation is telling me that she's going through something health-wise that's making her contemplate whether she'll be around in 10 years. And even though it's kind of messing with her head, it's also helping her live. So goodness. Now I'm going to look up if Lana Del Rey has a health problem. Just doing a quick Google search, which is always very reliable. It's telling me that she might have had anorexia. She might have struggled with anxiety. So anyway, something's going on with this sister.
They say there's irony in the music, it's a tragedy. I see nothing Greek in it.
So that's interesting. I wonder if that's a play on the phrase, it's all Greek to me, meaning you don't really understand. They say there's irony in the music, so I'm wondering if that's referring to her music. There's irony in it. It's a tragedy, but she sees nothing Greek in it. That's referring to Greek tragedies. So back in the day, the Greeks were all about them plays. And you had your Greek tragedies and you had your Greek comedies. A tragedy just referred to, at that time, a story that did not end on a happy note. Maybe the character died at the end. But a comedy didn't necessarily have to be funny. It just meant that it had a happy ending. Maybe because it's like not a Greek myth, you know? It's not a Greek tragedy. It's not some fake play that was written. It's like her life. There's no irony. It's just like, it's her life. Either way, it's sort of like they're saying, we're deciding what her music is, but she doesn't see it the same way. So that's interesting. All right. It's very confusing, but we're going to press on. I know. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Give me a mausoleum in Rhode Island with Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and Dave, who hung himself real high in the national park sky.
Give me a mausoleum in Rhode Island, so give me the real thing. It's not a play that's being performed, it's the real thing. Take me to where my loved ones have been buried. A mausoleum is a place where people are buried.
Give you 2 seconds to cry. Take you home high. I'll give you a blanket, your spirit can sit and watch TV by my side.
If you're writing a novel and you want it to be very stream of consciousness like this, you want to make sure that your ideas are connecting and flowing one into the other, kind of like they do in your own brain when you're thinking, right? So she says, give me a mausoleum in Rhode Island with Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, and Dave. Then she goes into Dave. Then she goes into how sad she is about thinking about that. And then it just builds from there. It's getting very like surreal. I would take my life, so I would die in order to find you, your astral body. So kind of finding you up in the heavens, put your body into my eyes, and give you 2 seconds to cry. So it's sort of like giving you new life. She says, take you home, I'll give you a blanket. So then we get from the heavens into very tangible, real world. And your spirit can sit and watch TV by my side. So that's really sweet. Like, I wish you hadn't died. It was a shame. And if I could, I would be a source of comfort for you.
Yes, baby, I ran through a time when I felt you
this is really sad. I would like to take Lana Del Rey and give her 2 seconds to cry and take her home and give her a blanket where she can sit and watch TV next to me, because I feel like she needs a hug. Or maybe a couple of hugs. Because baby, I ran through a time when I felt you were doing it. So then that's a good transition line. And it tells us basically that there was a time probably closer to when he died that she felt like he was there with her and his spirit was close by. So now she's going to tell us when that was.
I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone. I had to sing for the prince in 2 hours. Sat in the shower, gave myself 2 seconds to cry.
Oh. Okay, so then she takes us to the moment back when she found out that her uncle died. I couldn't handle it. I was in Monaco. I like the idea of I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone. I had to sing for the prince in 2 hours. I can't hear this right now. Don't tell me. But then also I couldn't hear what they said because it was just like unbelievable what they were telling her. So I kind of like how you could read that in a few different ways. I could also read it as I couldn't hear what they said on the telephone because it was muffled because it's a long distance call. I don't know. Just a thought. Part of me thinks that she's still carrying this around with her because she hasn't had enough time to grieve it. She gave herself 2 seconds there. This is probably explaining a little bit more about the cocktail of medications that she has to take that twist her neurons around, because maybe she's a little bit depressed, you know? Shoot. This next verse doesn't look like it's going anywhere good, so...
When I was 15, naked next door neighbors did a drive-by, pulled me up by my waist, long hair to the beach side.
Pulled me up by my waist, long hair to the beach side. Okay, so she was a child, she was naked. Why was she naked? I don't know. Don't want to speculate too much on that because I'm getting a little bit concerned for her. Well, I'm getting a lot concerned for her. Next door neighbors did a drive-by, so that just gives me the picture of like they're trying to take a peek, you know? Don't like that. Pulled me up by my waist, long hair to the beach side. So her next door neighbors pulled her by the waist and took her to the beach. Is that what that means? I'm not liking where this is going.
I wanted to go out like you, swim with the fishes that he caught on Rhode Island beaches.
I wanted to go out like you. That makes me think she's still talking to her Uncle Dave. Swim with the fishes is a euphemism that refers to dying. But swim with the fishes that he caught on Rhode Island beaches. So she plays with that common euphemism and draws it into the next line. Swim with the fishes that he caught on Rhode Island beaches. So I'm not sure if he is still referring to Dave or if he is referring to maybe the next door neighbor that pulled her by her waist. But nevertheless, in this moment, she felt like she wanted to die. But sometimes it's just not your time. So, yikes. Okay. That was interesting.
What kind of Jesus I'd end up in institutions. All I wanted to do was kiss Aaron Green and sit by.
All right. Caroline, that's her sister. So she says, it's not just your time, and then rhymes that with Caroline, which I think is fun. I also just love the name Caroline. I think it's one of the most beautiful names. So when I first heard this, I thought that she was saying, what kind of mother was Caroline? But now I think she's saying, Caroline, what kind of mother was our mother to say that I'd end up in institutions? So now I'm really understanding why she needs to have a cocktail of things. I also found it interesting that the word mother was overshadowed by the sounds of the song. Almost like it was blurred out, like a bad word. And what kind of was she? It's like that word doesn't even fit her because she said Lana would end up in institutions. But Lana says she wanted to just stay in her little town, have a kid with Aaron Green, sit by the lake and have some drinks. Like she wanted just a very simple life. This is probably the first stanza that really clearly paints a picture for us to imagine. I also find it interesting that this is the life that she wanted for herself, and it just don't seem like any of that happens. So
Aaron ended up dead, not me, with the fox rung in your head to send me away, never to come back.
We find out about her dream. This is all she wanted. But then Aaron ended up dead and not me. So that's sad. Exotic places and people to take the place of being your child. So that's really interesting. When she was 14, she was sent to boarding school to get sober because she struggled with alcoholism. And it seems like that time in her life was really tumultuous, and she just started getting obsessed with the idea that her family members weren't always going to be around. And it sounds like obviously she had several deaths in the family and through her friends that may have inspired that thinking as well. So goodness gracious. Okay.
I give myself 2 seconds to cry. Let it crash over me like the waves in the sea.
Whoa. Once again, we see I give myself 2 seconds to cry. So she really doesn't give herself a lot of time to feel these things that have had a really big impact on her. Let it crash over me like the waves in the sea. So I kind of like that image because, like, if it's crashing over you like waves, it's going to be overwhelming, but also waves don't last very long, right? It crashes over you like waves in the sea and then it recedes. So maybe it's like she lets herself cry for 2 seconds and then pulls it together, and then so there's that push and pull there, which I find interesting. But I still wish she would give herself more time to grieve. 2 seconds is not a long time.
Call me Aphrodite as they bow down to me.
She says, call me Aphrodite, which then ties back to like the Greek tragedy piece. Aphrodite being the goddess of love and beauty, and I think fertility also. I wonder if she's leaning into more of that like sex symbol kind of image to sort of grapple with her grief. Is that a stretch? I don't know. Tell me what you guys think.
Go back to being the serene queen. I just needed 2 seconds to be.
Sunbather, moon chaser, queen of empathy. I give myself 2 seconds to breathe. So I feel like that ties back into call me Aphrodite as they bow down to me, a sunbather, a moon chaser, a queen of empathy. I give myself 2 seconds to breathe and go back to being a serene queen. So there again, we get the crashing like waves. She gets 2 seconds to feel it and then she pulls back to being serene, and then 2 seconds and then being serene. She just needed 2 seconds to be herself. So yeah, there's definitely this theme coming through of it's one way to everyone who's receiving it and it's another way to her. So it's a Greek tragedy to everyone watching, but to her it's not. When she grieves, she's being her real self, and then she has to go back to being this serene queen, this Aphrodite, this symbol to everyone else. So, okay. Well, that was a whole experience. Wow. I feel like we all need to hang out and watch a Pixar movie together. So you know what? Just come on over. I'll put on the Pixar. We'll snuggle with some cats and just get some serotonin flowing again, because that was so depressing. Oh my gosh. Yeah, again, I would say this is a great example of how to write in stream of consciousness. Really, really great example. It is difficult to do that through a whole novel. It is really, really difficult, but people do it. I'm really curious to hear what you guys take out of this song. Let me know if you want me to do more Lana. I might need to sandwich that between like some children's nursery rhymes or something. I don't know. It was so sad, but really interesting to look at the writing and see what story she's telling by using such vague details at times. Sometimes it's really specific, sometimes it's not. So really fun to look through that. Was it fun? Really interesting to look through that. As always, it was so good to see you today. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Take care. And go listen to something happy now. Just balance it out.